Like any large organization, the South African Defence Force developed a language all of their own. It was a strange mixture of Afrikaans, English, slang, and military jargon that few outside of the military could hope to understand. Some of the terms were humorous, some were clever, while others were downright crude. Here are some of those that were common. Nafi, a slang expression used to denote a lack of motivation or interest. It stood for no ambition and fuck all interest. NCO, non-commissioned officer. These would include the ranks of Lance Corporal, Corporal, Sergeant and Staff Sergeant in the Army, Air Force and Medical Services, as well as the ranks of Able Seaman, Leading Seaman, Petty Officer and Chief Petty Officer in the Navy. Noddy Car, the nickname given to the Elan 60 armoured car. O Group, Order Group, a meeting usually held each morning between the officer commanding, second in command, regimental sergeant major and various section heads such as intelligence, admin, logistics, transport and so on. OBs, a term of endearment for old brown sherry. Many a cold night was made a lot warmer with a few slugs of OBs. OC, officer commanding. The OC of a unit normally held the rank of commandant or colonel. Olifant skolfers, a slang term for cornflake breakfast cereal. It is an Afrikaans expression meaning elephant dandruff. Olifant. The olifant, Afrikaans for elephant, was the main battle tank of the SADF. It was designed and built in South Africa. One-liner, a slang term for a lance corporal. One pip, a slang term for a second lieutenant. It was a reference to the single star or pip that was worn on the shoulder to denote his or her rank. OP, observation post. Sometimes these were temporary and could just be somebody up a tree. Others were more permanent structures. Operational area, an area north of the so-called red line. This was a line drawn on the map, and anywhere north of the map was regarded as the operational area. Once you crossed the red line, you qualified for danger pay. Orders, a type of official meeting or interview. This was usually with the adjutant of the unit, or it could even be with the officer commanding. A person was marched into the office by either the RSM or a senior NCO. A person could go on orders for a variety of reasons, including to be complimented or punished. It was also possible to request to go on orders, to lay a complaint, or put forward a request. Oman, a term used to describe a troop who only had a short time left of his national service. It is Afrikaans for old man. Ovambo Baji, a slang expression for houseflies. Troops on the border would joke that the mosquitoes carried you away at night and the flies brought you back first thing in the morning. Ovamba Pila, a slang term for tinned Vienna sausages. It is an Afrikaans expression that can be translated as Ovambo penises. Parabat. Members of the parachute battalion were referred to as parabats. Pass. Written permission to leave the confines of the base. It could range from a half-hour pass to go into town to buy a packet of cigarettes for the corporal, to a weekend pass. National servicemen were given a 7-day pass during the first year of their national service, and a 14-day pass during their second year. PBs, a term used for the local population. It comes from the Afrikaans, plaaslike bevolking. PF, permanent force. These were full-time soldiers, and the SADF was their chosen career. According to national servicemen, however, the PF stood for permanent fuck-up. Pukstel, a slang term for the eating set that was issued to troops. It consisted of a fork and spoon that slid into the handle of the knife. It is an Afrikaans expression meaning pecking set. Pillar and brille, a slang expression for com-ops or community operations. These are normally carried out by military intelligence to win the hearts and minds of the local population. The troops sometimes referred to com-ops as gatkruip, an Afrikaans word meaning arse-creeping. Pillar and brille, by the way, is Afrikaans for pills and glasses. Piss lily, a slang expression for urinal tube. The name was adapted from the Second World War term, lily of the desert. Piss parade. When traveling long distance by vehicle, regular stops were made for the troops to stretch their legs and relieve themselves. These stops were referred to as piss parades, or in Afrikaans, pisparade. Pissvel. The name given to the mattress protector that was used to cover the foam mattresses used by the SADF. The word is Afrikaans and can literally be translated as pisskin. Plan. People's Liberation Army of Namibia. Plan was the armed wing of SWAPO. Pusboekie. A4-size comic-type books where photographs were used instead of drawings. Popular titles included Captain Devil, Kid Colt, and Tessa. Of course, the favorite magazine of young troops, especially those on the border, was Scope magazine. It contained sediphiles. Of course, this was still the old South Africa with its strict censorship laws, so the naughty bits were covered with strategically placed stars. Pongo, a slang term for members of the army. It refers to the often unavailability of washing facilities in the bush. The name Pongo comes from the expression, everywhere the army goes, the pong, or smell, goes. Pro Neutro, a derogatory nickname for the Pro Patria medal. This medal was awarded to those that served in the operational area, so it was a medal awarded to a lot of people. Troops would joke that if you opened a box of Pro Neutro, a popular breakfast cereal, you'd probably find a medal inside. PTI, Physical Training Instructor. They were responsible for giving physical instruction, usually during basic training. The PTI qualification badge consisted of a buck's head with crossed swords. R1, the standard infantry assault rifle until it was replaced by the R4. It was manufactured under license in South Africa and was based on the design of the Belgian FN-FAL assault rifle. It was a 7.62mm weapon with a 20-round magazine. R4, the infantry assault weapon that replaced the R1. It is manufactured locally under license and is based on the Israeli Galil assault rifle. It is a 5.56mm weapon and takes a 30-round magazine. R&R. This stood for Rest and Recreation. Often, however, it was referred to as I&I, Intercourse and Intoxication. Rat Pack, shortened term for ration pack. These were issued to troops when in the bush. They were supposed to last 24 hours and contained items such as instant tea and coffee, condensed milk, sugar, chewing gum, instant soup, energy bars, glucose sweets, energy drinks, dog biscuits, Esprit tablets, and a few small tins of food. Rattle, the standard infantry fighting vehicle of the SADF. It was used extensively by the mechanized battalions and was produced in a number of variants. These included the Rattle 20, Rattle 60, and Rattle 90, armed respectively with 20mm, 60mm, and 90mm guns. There was also a command rattle and a logistics rattle. Rattle is the Afrikaans word for honey badger. Recce, abbreviation for a member of the Elite Special Forces Reconnaissance Commando, later regiment. Also, the term used to denote an exploratory patrol, an abbreviation of the word reconnoiter. Red line, an imaginary line in southwest Africa running east-west through Oshavelo. Once you had passed north of this line, you were considered to be in the operational area and qualified for danger pay. Rock spider, a derogatory term for an Afrikaner. Sometimes the shortened version, rock, would be used. Roofie, a term used for a new recruit. It comes from the Afrikaans word meaning scab. Until you finished basic training, you were a roofie. Rondfok and opfok, two words that any national serviceman knew. Rondfok was Afrikaans for being fucked around, while opfok meant being fucked up. All troops knew and understood the military principle of hurry up and wait. This principle was a classic example of Rondfok. A harsh PT session, a fast route march, or being chased numerous times around the obstacle course was opfok. An opfok was also known as an oppie. Rooi gevaar, an Afrikaans word that means red danger. The authorities were forever warning about the rooi gevaar or communist danger. Rooinek, a derogatory term for an English-speaking person. It is Afrikaans for redneck. It doesn't, however, have the same meaning of redneck as used by the Americans. It originated during the Anglo-Boer War when British soldiers would get sunburnt on their necks. RSM, a regimental sergeant major. RV, a rendezvous point. You would often be told to reach a certain RV by a specific time. SAF, South African Air Force. The Afrikaans was Suid-Afrikaanse Lugmag. SADF, South African Defence Force. The Afrikaans was Suid-Afrikaanse Weermag. SAML. Designed and built locally, the SAML was a general-purpose truck used by the SADF. It came in variants such as the SAML 20, SAML 50, SAML 100, and SAML 100 Queervoel. SAMS, South African Medical Services. In Afrikaans, it was Suid-Afrikaanse Medische Gesondheidsdienst. Originally part of the Army, SAMS became the fourth branch of the SADF. SAN, South African Navy. In Afrikaans, it is Suid-Afrikaanse Vloot. Shona, an open area typically found in a Wambeland that fills with water during the rainy season and is invariably dry during the winter months. The word is an abbreviation of the Wambo word, Shona. Sick, lame and lazy, a derogatory term for those with light duty. Seal Tiffy, a slang term for a padre or chaplain. Tiffy was an Afrikaans expression that meant mechanic, and seal was an Afrikaans word for soul. So a seal tiffy or soul mechanic fixed your spiritual needs. Skitbalkie, a marksman's badge. Personnel who qualified for this wore it above the right pocket of their step-out jacket. Skrapnelhoender, a term used to describe a meal consisting of shredded chicken. It is an Afrikaans expression meaning shrapnel chicken. Skrapnel, the Afrikaans word for shrapnel. It was used to describe tin mixed vegetables that consisted of beans, carrots, peas, and sweet corn. Slangvel, a term used to describe the parabat jump jacket that replaced the step-out jacket. It is an Afrikaans word meaning snakeskin. Smoke break, a short period, normally about 10 minutes long, when everyone could take a break from training. When smoking became non-PC, the name was changed to water break. SNAFU, an acronym for Situation Normal, All Fucked Up. Snuffeltiffy, a member of the intelligence corps, from the Afrikaans meaning sniffing mechanic, as it was one of Int's jobs to go and sniff things out. Snotneus, a slang term for the multiple grenade launcher. It is an Afrikaans expression for snot nose. Soeksteekstok, a stick with a wedge-shaped tip used to probe for landmines. It is an Afrikaans expression that means seek prod stick. SOMFU, acronym for Self-Organized Military Fuck-Up. Soutpil, a derogatory term for an English-speaking person. It is an Afrikaans term that translates as salt prick. According to the Afrikaans, a soutpil had 1 foot in South Africa, 1 foot in England, and their penis hung in the sea. The shortened version of soutpil was soti. Spick and span, a slang term given to tinned luncheon meat that was sometimes served as a meal. It is a play on the manufacturer's name, Speckenham. Staaldak, an Afrikaans term for the helmet that was issued to SADF troops. It was hardly ever referred to as a steel helmet, and even English speakers would call it a staaldak. It was later replaced by a Kevlar helmet, which, strange enough, was also called a staaldak. The States, a term used by those in the operational area to refer to South Africa. If someone was going back to the States, they would be returning from Southwest Africa to South Africa. The term originated during Operation Savannah in 1975. Troops taking part in the operation were told not to divulge where they were from. If anyone asked, they were to say that they were from the States, referring to America. Step-outs. The name given to the dress uniform worn by the SADF. It consisted of shoes, socks, long pants, a belt, a long-sleeve shirt, tie and jacket. Summary trial. A type of military court system. For less serious offences, a summary trial was held. Anyone with the rank of major or above could hold an immediate summary trial. He could sentence an offender to extra duties or detention barracks. For more serious offences, a court-martial would be held. Suurstofdief. A derogatory term used by combat troops for those in non-combat roles. It is an Afrikaans expression meaning oxygen thief. Swan. A female member of the South African Navy. SWAPO. Southwest African People's Organization. SWAPO became the official government in Namibia after independence. SWATF. Southwest African Territorial Force. Tampax Tiffy. A slang term for a medic. It is Afrikaans for Tampax mechanic. Tampax is a brand of tampon. Taxis. Cloths or strips of blanket which are wrapped around the soles of your boots. These serve two purposes. One, they help polish the floor, and secondly, they didn't leave scuff marks. TB. Temporary base. When out on patrol in the bush, you would set up a TB each night. You were supposed to set up your TB after last light and move out before first light the next morning. TER. An abbreviation for a terrorist. Tiffy. A slang term for a mechanic or a member of the Technical Services Corps. Tikkie box. A nickname for a coin-operated public telephone. Trommel. An Afrikaans term for a metal trunk that was issued to troops to store their kit in. Tupperware. Rubberized nutria cloth with screen-printed emblems depicting a person's unit. These were used when the step-out uniform was phased out. Tupperware was a company that made and sold plastic containers. Two-liner. A slang term for a corporal. UNITA. A Union for the Total Independence of Angola. UNITA were a resistance movement led by the late Dr. Jonas Savimbi. Its objective was to overthrow the MPLA government in Angola. For many years, the SADF provided UNITA with arms, supplies, and military assistance. Varkpan. A slang term for the metal tray on which food was often served. It is an Afrikaans word meaning pig pan or pig trough. Varkpiel. A slang expression for a portable immersion heater, usually plugged into any convenient light socket in a tent or bungalow. It was used to heat water for coffee or tea. It is an Afrikaans word that can be translated as pig's penis. Vasbyt. An Afrikaans term meaning bite fast. It was used to encourage each other. Vleisbom. A derogatory term used to describe parabets, usually by non-parabets. It is an Afrikaans term meaning meat bomb. Voelvel. A slang term for a sleeping bag. Afrikaans meaning the word is foreskin. Voorste posisie. An instruction usually given by the PTI. It meant to lie flat on the ground in preparation for push-ups. It is an Afrikaans expression meaning first position or front position. Foster Oral. The nickname for the Valkyrie 127mm multiple rocket launcher. The feared Soviet equivalent was nicknamed the Stalin organ. So the SADF's version was nicknamed the Foster Oral, or Foster organ, after former South African Prime Minister John Foster. Wapentiffy. The Afrikaans name for an armourer. They were usually members of the Technical Service Corps who were trained to repair firearms. The term means weapons mechanic. White gold. A slang expression for toilet paper. For some reason, there always seemed to be a shortage of toilet paper in the bush. If you had a roll, you kept it hidden in your backpack and never let it out of your sight. It was ready with its weight in gold. Thanks for watching. If you haven't watched part 1 yet, Do so now by clicking the link below. Please feel free to leave a comment and don't forget to share this with everyone you know. But above all, please subscribe to our channel. Thanks.